Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be able to have the opportunity to speak to you today. I commend the International Strategy Institute, ISI, for your initiative in organizing the 2021 World Chinese Economic Forum and the untiring efforts to further strengthen China-Malaysia bilateral ties. I am truly delighted to be in the presence of institutional leaders, captains of industries, industry experts on this platform. Despite the numerous challenges we faced this year, it has provided us with a chance to strengthen family ties. I welcome 2 grandsons this year and has given me the hope, thank you, that we will rise from these dark days. As we begin to erase or ease international travel and open up more economic sectors, coupled with a high administration of COVID-19 vaccines into the hands of our citizens, we must now relook and we must re-strategize our economy for it to be future-proof and more resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event also has taken me back to relooking at my late father, Tun Abdul Razak's great diplomacy foresight. This very diplomacy has led to the rapprochement between Malaysia and China in the 1970s and finally culminated in a formal establishment of diplomatic relations in May 1974 when he visited Beijing, while at that time there were still fears looming around the region post-Cold War. We look at China as a country of great potential rather than a threat. In 1991, we made another significant move when we invited Beijing to attend the ASEAN meeting in Kuala Lumpur and begin a dialogue relationship with the bloc. The meeting in 1991 developed into a more formalized dialogue partnership in 1996, paving the way for a productive China-ASEAN relationship to evolve in the decades to come. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to have profound impact on the world. The challenge of tackling the virus is straining the capabilities of governments around the world. It has allowed us to relook at our areas of strategic partnership while preserving the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, during my tenure, we signed a strategic partnership, the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, while courting more Chinese investment and facilitating the beginning of military-to-military ties. We also encouraged more cultural and people-to-people exchanges and embraced technology companies' entry to Malaysia. I, for once, will not claim the credit for the work initiated by my late father. I observed during my younger years the birth of the relationship between the two nations as led by my father but my role was to further it to greater heights. However, I was lambasted by critics that I was pawning the country's sovereignty, and the projects that my administration approved did not benefit Malaysia. I shall let the prospect speak for itself under the Belt and Road Initiative. The Malaysia-China Kuantan Industrial Park, together with its twin park, Chinjo. For Kuantan Port, the development includes a deep water terminal to accommodate larger vessels, will increase the port's handling capacity from 26 million to 52 million tons annually. The East Coast Rail Link, the electric rail network of 665 kilometers, will bring benefits to the smaller towns, jobs, and new connectedness to the people of my home state Pahang and the East Coast states in Peninsular Malaysia, giving rural entrepreneurs a spot on a global supply chain and boost freight transactions, including from southern Thailand. This will also give ECRL a viable infrastructure in line with the revenue ratio of 70% cargo services and 30% passenger services. This rail link has been forecasted to boost additional GDP growth of about 1.5% for each of the East Coast states. The Digital Free Trade Zone was designed to make cross-region shipments more affordable for Malaysian small, medium enterprises, the central spine of the Malaysian economy. The core element of the scheme is an electronic world trade platform which is designed to ease business between Malaysian and Chinese firms. The virtual platform would connect businesses, manage cargo authorizations, and assist with customs. A brick-and-mortar facility in the Malaysian capital will also help with logistics and accelerate the growth of the e-commerce industry. Kuala Lumpur, Singapore high-speed rail that connects Kuala Lumpur and Singapore within a mere 19 minutes will have a potential spillover impact of the line between $48 billion and $158 billion US dollars by 2069, as the connectivity will enhance business productivity and market access and will unlock development opportunities for economic clusters along the high-speed rail corridor and further integrate our two economies. Demand for crude oil has also benefited over 500,000 Felda settlers who benefited from the deal struck with China, where President Xi Jinping agreed to buy crude palm oil from Malaysia. The price of crude palm oil went up by 35% then. I supported the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which was conceived by President Obama to stimulate trade and investment in the Asia-Pacific community, although China was not part of it. Yet at the same time, Malaysia, under my leadership, was party to the Regional Comprehensive Economy Partnership, or RCEP, of which both China and India were part of it. However, after the Pakatan Harapan took over in 2018, it has led to one of the most fraught periods in Malaysia-China relations. The ECRL and the two China-financed oil and gas pipeline projects were suspended. These moves have rattled the confidence of the Chinese investors community. Again, we shall let the results speak for themselves. In 2018, the foreign direct investment recorded a lower net inflow of 30.7 billion ringgit as against 40.4 billion in 2017, the last year of the Barisan National Government. In 2019, FDI flows into Malaysia expanded relatively higher at 32.4 billion ringgit, albeit much lower than in 2017. The trend once again went downward in 2020 with a net inflow of a dismal 14.6 billion ringgit, 55% lower from 2019 and the lowest since 2009. Although the ECRL project was restored under new terms and conditions, the PH government sang a different tune as compared to pre-GE14, finally admitting that Chinese investment and technology capabilities as opportunities to drive Malaysia's economic development. Meanwhile, the Perikatan National-led government continued to downplay its foreign affairs agenda and focused its energy on battling the public health crisis. The Forest City project was also made into political propaganda to attack me. Prior to 2018, former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad claimed that the Barisan National Government was forsaking the country's sovereignty to China, that we were offering 700,000 citizenships to Chinese nationals to move to Forest City. Clearly, an outrageous, racist and abhorrent lie. He even promised to cancel the project should they win power in the upcoming elections then. However, soon after the 2018 election, which they won on the back of this and other outrageous claims, he began switching his stance. Suddenly, lo and behold, they say that the Forest City project had contributed immensely to the government, created employment opportunities, promoted technology transfer and innovations, and had benefited Malaysia's economic growth and job creation. So much so that Dr. Mahathir even attended a ceremony to present a certificate of appreciation to the Forest City company. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, from selling sovereignty to certificate of appreciation, all within a space of a year. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia must now pave its way back to a position of strength, and we must put into place a far-reaching economic plan and must not be afraid to take tough decisions to rebuild the resilience of the Malaysian economy. We cannot stop viruses from mutating, and the pandemic has taught us the inevitable damage to the global economy is catastrophic, with damages amounting to trillions of dollars. We now know that vaccines are safe and effective. Mass vaccination is the only way to shorten the pain and limit the damage to the world economy. Therefore, the world must come together to create a global vaccination infrastructure. We must develop a diversified structure to shorten the time from vaccines to move from the laboratories to or into the arms of as many people as possible. To this end, I call on the world to start investing in Malaysia and ASEAN as regional hubs to allow us to manufacture future vaccines locally so that we can shorten the pain. Distinguished guests, the green energy and carbon markets have provided an abundance of opportunities, and the pandemic has accentuated the trend. We must continue to explore strategic partnerships in low carbon cooperation, in fields such as energy, transportation, and green financing between China, Malaysia, and other ASEAN member countries, as well as promoting the implementation of biodiversity protection. ASEAN has established market rules for multilateral power trade and must now look forward to strengthening the connectivity with China to jointly promote green development. An interesting example of this point is the investment by a Malaysian company, Next Green Technology, that uses technology developed in China, converting palm oil empty fruit bunch and many parts of the palm oil trees, including palm leaves and the bark, to produce paper, tissues, and fertilizers. Not only will this project yield substantial foreign exchange and revenue for the country, but it will also provide immense benefits to the surrounding fellow settlers who will receive additional income from the sale of their waste and trees. Not to mention, the waste residues are reused to generate energy to self-sustain their factories. The first A4 paper will be rolled out in the second week of January, just 2 weeks away. Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has shown us its sheer might. Stocks destroyed, supply chain disrupted. Whilst demand has become weak, supply has been in disarray. As a result, we suffered greatly post-pandemic. In addition to the emergence of variant of concern, no sourcing destination was immune, with the immediate impact on borders and trade. This has resulted in many countries increasing national self-sufficiency, nearshoring of supply chains, and increasing talk of permanent shifts to hedge against similar disruptions in the future. The current global semiconductor squeeze is a reminder that the world needs to diversify its production basis and avoid single sourcing. To this end, we call on China and the world Chinese community to select Malaysia as your preferred regional production hubs for high technology manufacturing. Our well-educated workforce, track record in electronic production, generous investment incentives, and excellent infrastructure put Malaysia in a very good position to be your choice. Ladies and gentlemen, as life returns to its usual ebbs and flow, it is the responsibility of the Malaysian and Chinese governments, in fact, responsibility of all governments around the world, to devise policies that reduce the impacts and volatility of the force majeure events. An immediate threat that needs to be addressed would be the volatility and soaring costs of commodities and food supply that arose from the disruption to stocks production and the supply chain caused by global lockdowns. When you hurt the wallets of the people, they will complain. But when you hurt the stomach of the people or their families, it becomes a matter of life and death. In Malay, we have a saying, sudah jatuh, ditimpa tangga. Ordinary folks throughout the world had their income, savings, and livelihoods severely depleted and hurt by the month-long lockdowns where they were prevented from earning a living, only to emerge from the lockdowns to find that food prices have soared. I fear that global food inflation will continue to soar. Therefore, China and the world have a responsibility and must do their utmost to help contain global food and commodity prices and reduce its volatility until the global supply chain can be normalized and stocks rebuilt. Whether it is to provide subsidies, give incentives to increase production, increase the efficiency of the supply chain, or promote responsible consumption by reducing wastage, we must do more in order to prevent the poor from becoming even poorer and to reduce the chances of social upheaval. We must take full advantage of the free trade agreements such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership RCEP. Most importantly, the opportunities translated in this agreement must be used to bring down tariffs, bring down operating costs for small and medium enterprises that form the backbone of the Malaysian economy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if 2021 was the year the world turned the tide against the pandemic, 2022 will be dominated by the need to adjust its new post-pandemic realities. It has stressed the need to promote high-quality development, provide a cradle-to-grave social protection scheme, raise the income of urban and rural residents, narrow the gap of the income distribution, and prevent wealth polarization. We must look beyond our shores while guaranteeing stability and peace in creating conditions that are more inclusive and fair for people to improve their development capabilities, as well as shaping an environment that provides chances for more people to live to live a dignified life. It is also a year that we must continue to construct meaningful friendship with our regional neighbors to devise and debate policy solutions to problems and barriers, strengthening the model of collaboration between the government and the private sector. Our cooperation must be broadened, our common interests deepened, and our people shall continue to enjoy more tangible benefits. I hope that China and Malaysia, along with other countries, could hold high the torch of multilateralism, banish the dark clouds of unilateralism, and ultimately usher in a clear sky of common development, peace and stability for the world and all of its humanity. The Malaysian Chinese community have shown their entrepreneurial skill, their tenacity, ability and grit to be successful in facing adverse challenges. In this regard, any post-pandemic recovery will count on their inherent strength to contribute to this process. It doesn't matter if Malaysian Chinese eat with chopsticks, fork and spoon, or even use their hands, as long as in their hearts and in their minds, they are truly Malaysians. I hope this conference will be beneficial. I hope it will shed light on the tremendous opportunities that this partnership has to offer. I would like to thank the organizer, and I wish you all a very successful conference. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much to Yang Muhammad for your informative and insightful session. Please remain on the stage. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, and now I would like to invite Mr. Chia to please be on the stage and present a token of appreciation to Yang Muhammad Datuk Seri Najib, our guest of honor.